All right, then I'm about to do the same thing. Penis.
You didn't realize they heard that on the night.
God damn it. That really the first thing we're gonna start on?
Remember, concerning with the whole, treat with the like freaking same lab that doesn't do the confirming, all that stuff. It just goes straight to live.
Yeah, I have the confirmation one enabled on mine, so.
I have mine enabled, but I don't really have voice. But anyways, I already got a few people on my team. If you want to do your intro first, or do you want me to do mine first? Leah?
Did you start it, Josh? Because
I'm about to say we need to slow the fuck down a little bit. All right.
Live on your end.
I haven't even started yet. I'm about to in like a couple seconds though.
yeah, because I didn't want to start unless Josh pushed that we're live. So
Yeah, good.
We are now, or we should be.
It takes a while.
So yeah, I know. Just so I guess I know I have what they're seeing on the stream is just the window of the actual call. So that way I have my hands free to check the fucking, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
okay. So we are live now.
Yeah. Oh yes, we are.
Okay.
And I guess one of y'all are definitely probably gonna have to check the chat because I know it's gonna be damn near impossible for me to check both.
Don't worry, I'll be checking. Well, I'll have two phones with me checking both sides.
Oh, damn, two phones. All right, one for the plug, one for the load, huh?
Okay. Okay, so let's start with the intros. Welcome everyone to another episode of Goddess Spotlight with Leah Serenity Rose. And I have my very amazing co-host, Chris here.
Hello guys, from my end, it was Leah then. Hello and welcome to another episode of At the Chaos Protectors with my awesome co-host here, Leah.
Yeah, we are both streaming this Q&A, so and very exciting because we will be doing a Q&A with Josh here.
Hello. How's it going?
So, shall we get started with this Q&A, Josh, Chris?
Yep.
Absolutely. I'll just go ahead. I'll go ahead and say right off the bat for the people. This is actually the first solo interview I've ever done, so I'm nervous as hell, but we'll make it work. You know?
Okay, so here's my first question for you, Josh. How did you get into voice acting? How did you become interested in voice acting, and what inspired you to pursue this career?
Oh man. Well, I mean, I guess I'm still essentially establishing myself as far as the field's concerned, but as far as how did I get into it? I mean, like most people, I was experimenting with a lot of weird voices and such as a kid, but also just watching a lot of animation, playing a lot of video games and such. Like I know, and I feel like and it was kind of like and so that was something I knew for a fact I was interested in doing. And I know I also have a bit of a theater and film acting background. Because for those that don't know, I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum, and which is something I haven't really talked about much anywhere. But I know, I know part like as a kid when I was about 8 or 9 years old, my mom actually brought me to a drama camp. It's kind of like a way to help me like the way to kind of help me with my communication skills. And then I realized that was something. Then I guess they realized that I was able to act, and I just kind of went from there. I know, and of course I had a I was in like as a kid. If I wasn't with the drama kids, I was either with the geeks or with the drama kids growing up. It was always one of those two. And then also in college I also went to college for broadcast production. And got a little time behind the mic because I actually worked in radio as a radio personality for my college's radio station for a brief period. Which I was there for like a few months and was let go, but for reasons I won't really get too much into, but I know, and then I got to, but I cannot talk today. But yeah, that was kind of like where like I had like all that extra background, and I know there was something I'd always wanted to do, like no BS. At like 9, I knew that was the type of thing I wanted to do, especially and I think. But I don't think it was until COVID hit that I started actually trying to pursue it seriously. Because I mean, I think I definitely was trying to pursue it before that, but that was what gave me the enough free time on my hands to actually try to take that sort of thing seriously. Because I was slowly starting to do it as early as like 2017, but I didn't have enough time to properly invest my time into it. And of course that's and I guess what inspired me to pursue the career, definitely the fact that it was something I'd always wanted to do, and I was always doing a lot of weird voices and such as a kid, and I feel like that was kind of like a combination of those two that I feel like I completely lost my train of thought. Fuck, I forgot what I was trying. I forgot what I was trying to say. But what was the question again?
Here's a question from looking at Leah's chat. It's from the prankster. Silver 18. I'll read out the pranksters and then you can read out the other one, Leah. They ask, most of us here know you for Knuckles, but are there any other character voices you can do? And here's something I promised to say about this. Oh, how's that airline food? How's that airline food? Oh, my ribs hurt.
I mean, guess what? I'm going to Boston this weekend for a wedding, and I'm going to be flying. So I'm gonna find. Yeah, so I'm gonna find out about that airline food. It's probably gonna suck ass like it usually do. But that's all right.
Oh.
What was that?
Leah?
I think the other. Huh. Okay. I think.
Can you not see Silver 18?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think Prankster.
Are you sure? Because I don't think I finished their question.
Whoa, what is going on the...
Whoa.
What is going on? That's weird on my end. Josh, I think it's coming from your end.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible.
Like it's glitching out.
That is
Man, God really, really does not want y'all to interview me. Damn, am I that ugly?
It's almost like I don't know what's going on here. It's stopped now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of weird.
Listen, it's the man. They don't want you to interview my old ugly ass. I feel like that's what it boils down to.
Oh, right. um, so basically, Prankster's question is: are there any other character voices you could do?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I'm like I am like a voice actor. I'm not just the LOL funny Knuckles guy. So I feel
He's done Shadow before. Yeah,
I have.
I done?
I have. I've also for those that are familiar with me and Chris's work with our friend Darkbox or Speedy Blue, I've also voiced I've voiced Mephiles, and there's I know
Also done sometimes done Starline with a good friend Igman Empire.
yes, that is true, and that was actually and also that was actually that was my initial break-in in like 2019. My buddy my buddy Brandon or Dark Cloud VA, I actually have voiced Starline I've been voicing Starline for his IDW dub since like 2019, and I was as far as I know, I was probably the first one to actually give him a voice, because it was like a couple weeks after the issues had come out. And it was like right before like Adrenaline Dubs had gotten to those comics, and Wolfblade does a fantastic job of their Starline. I'm not trying to knock that in any way, and of course like everybody, and of course like most everybody in Adrenaline Dubs are friends of mine. So and if any of y'all are, which Landy or any of y'all, if y'all are watching, shout out to y'all.
Raymond did bring up a good point. You also have played Zavok not just over at Sonic Rebel, but you have done it a few times with us as well.
That is true, and yes, that is true. That is because that is true. People do forget that I do also voice Zavok for Revo as well. Probably because I don't get to do it as often. But
You should.
Yeah. And yeah. And I know there's also a few other, and I know I voiced for my boy Noah. I know I voiced Storm for his Storm the Comedian short, and I'm also Commander Buzz in the Wax's Sonic 1 animated project that he's currently working on. I know. Since I was mentioning Adrenaline Dubs, this doesn't 100% count, but I did Wallow work for issue 30. So like you could hear me in the crowd, and so in that one scene where there's a crowd in the background, you can hear me in there somewhere. And there's a few others as well, but like nothing that I don't feel like I'm allowed to talk about in public yet, which is why I'm kind of keeping it under wraps. So like obviously it'd be hard for me to say everybody, because I don't think like there's some I'm able to legally say yet.
I get you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I am an actual voice actor, guys.
Okay. Okay. Here's my next question, Josh. What got you into the Sonic franchise?
What got me into the Sonic franchise? I think I technically answered this in a stream you did a few weeks back, but I'll say it here again anyway. Around 1997, I was about 3 years old. My parents had a Model 2 Genesis, and I remember they had plenty of games on there, but one that I remember sticking in my mind was Sonic Classics 3-in-1. It was a compilation a cartridge of 1, 2, and Mean Bean Machine, and I can't tell you how many hours I put into that freaking game. As in my early childhood, and of course I believe the day, like a year after that, in like '98 was around the time they started airing reruns of Adventure of the Sonic the Hedgehog on Toon Disney, and which I would watch that coming, like, before going to school and coming back home from school. I watched it on the regular. I'm pretty sure my parents have old VHS copies of like things I taped over with that, but I don't remember for the life of me if they still have it anywhere. Not, and I don't even think we even have a VHS player anywhere anymore. But I know that was kind of like my initial kind of way in, and then around '98 I got my Game Boy Color, which had Pokemon Blue in it, which is what got me, and of course the year afterward I got my N64, and you know, so kind of started getting more into like Pokemon and Mario and things it got more into Pokemon and Mario and Kirby a little bit later, and it kind of fell to the wayside for a couple of years. Then around Christmas of 2002 I got my GameCube, and which I remember that was given to me by my Uncle Terry, my Uncle Terry, God rest his soul. And he actually, one of the first games I got with it was Sonic Mega Collection, and which I had played 1, 2, and Mean Bean Machine up to that point, but I hadn't played any of the other like classic games and such. And so that was one of the things that exposed me to all the other ones, and also it had bonus features that had some of the extra like exposure to the lore, like, you know, they had like some of the issues from the Archie comics, because they were very much out at that point. There was like quite a few other things. I even had like a history of Sonic retrospective, and this was in like 2002. My parents still had dial-up at this point. So I wasn't even really using the internet much at that point, because my parents would have beat my ass for ramming the phone bill up, and it exposed me to the lore, and you know, like a lot, and I was just very like captivated by it, and just captivated by Sonic as a character, captivated by like the environment, captivated by everything about it in general. It just kind of became like literally just the outside of a couple brief breaks here and there. I haven't skipped a day in like little over 20 years now, and I believe Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came out around that same year, and I played that as a friend's house, and it was just literally, for the most part, outside of a couple like brief breaks here and there, outside of a brief break from like 2013 to 14, just because Lost World and Rise of Lyric were disappointments. So outside of a brief stint from like 2013 to 2015 where I kind of fell off and got back on afterwards, I haven't skipped a day in 20 something years. And I would say, like, easily, like, to this day, that's probably my not only my favorite video game series, but probably my favorite hyperfixation in general, like in life.
Ooh, very.
And I'm hearing an echo. I'm hearing an echo on your end, Chris.
Probably because I am still watching both sides. Also, System says hello.
Who says hello? I'm sorry?
System 509, says hello.
Oh, shit. What up, System? Oh, System 509, rather. What?
So,
What was that, Chris?
Anyways, what were you going to say, Leah?
Do you have a question for Josh?
Let's see, I do. Like, aside from, well, I know, like, I remember from last time we talked about, like, some of the voice coaches that you had. Did you learn any from anyone else besides, I believe you said Dan Green had taught you?
I feel like that. I feel like that's that's the thing. The thing is, I literally only did one-off session 4 years ago. And I literally just did it just to see if I could do it because I hadn't quite figured out because I still had no idea what the hell I was doing at that point. So I feel like that might have been misunderstood. I do know. Yeah, but yeah, that's I literally only did one. I literally only did one class at that with him, and that was 4 years ago. He likely has no idea who the hell I am.
That's why I said I tried to remember.
But but that's I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. What was the question again?
I guess, yeah, aside from the one-time thing, let me rephrase the question. Aside from the one-time lesson from him, was there anyone else you had tried to learn how to, voice act from?
I know I've taken some introductory. I took some introductory classes at the. I've done a little bit of training at the voice caster, as well as I'm also doing just words just to kind of like to try to help figure out my initial footing, and I'm also doing taking improv and acting classes at Second City, and I know I'm actually also planning on going. I know I'm also planning to take some classes and coaching over at Calmanston and Calmanston, which is where I plan on getting like my where I plan on prepping for my demo reels in the future. That this is of course and words and I honestly don't feel like I have a good answer to this question because I try to keep this sort of thing under wraps. But I've taken classes at the voice caster in Second City, and I'm looking at doing some at Calmanston and Calmanston to hone in on my craft. That's about the best way I can answer this. Sorry if this answer sucks, but
You're good.
But yeah, that's the short. That's the fuck am I saying? That wasn't no damn short answer. But it was an answer regardless. Even if I start rambling on, just stop me because I don't know. But I had a little weed earlier to calm my nerves. Well.
Okay, here's my next question for you, John. In Sonic Revolution, did you have any favorite panel moments that you find memorable or funny?
Probably, I think one of the things I can think of right off the top of my head is I would say the Metallic Madness character skits was definitely one because particularly whenever Andrew decided to just casually just switch over to his Amy voice out of nowhere.
That one was definitely out of the ordinary.
And I remember specifically he probably wouldn't mind. He likely wouldn't mind if I say this, but I remember I don't particularly remember the exact context, but I remember at one point he just switches to it like smooth as hell, and I literally like didn't even miss a beat, and then went back to his Sonic voice, and it's like And I remember like immediately afterwards, I'm like messaging him like, bro, what the hell was that? That, like I should just quit because I'm never gonna be that good. You know what I mean? But also, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I feel like actually, if I had to pick one, probably, as far as an actual like panel, because that was just kind of a shtick we were doing specifically for Metallic Madness. But shout out to Tails channel, because they're the people behind the Metallic Madness shtick. Would probably be the Sonic Speed Q&A because of the fact that we because I really enjoyed like there was like I know there was one where we had to one part of it where we had to go in, and I know Ultimate was Starline, which is Starline. No offense to Wolfblade 93 because he does a fantastic Starline, and there's definitely a bunch of other people that do fantastic Starlines as well. I'm not gonna count myself in that because one, that would be biased and slightly egotistical, so I'm not gonna even include myself in that. But Ultimate's probably the best damn Starline I've ever heard personally. I'll say.
System said you doxed yourself, bro.
Did I dox myself? What are we talking about?
I think from one of the things you were saying, you doxed things about yourself. Yeah.
So what did I say about myself? I don't even remember what we're talking about.
I don't even know. I was busy trying to fix up the audio on my end.
Yeah. I'm about to say, system. You're gonna have to like DM me or something because I'm completely losing my train of thought right now. But what was the question again?
The question was, in Sonic Revolution, did you have any favorite panel moments that you find memorable or funny?
Yeah. I was gonna say one, but then I kind of got interrupted. That's okay. But I know Sonic Speed Q&A because I know that I know there was one part where I remember where Ultimate was Starline. He is the best damn Starline I've ever heard personally. I have no problem saying that. And I was of course Knuckles, and I remember the first thing, and of course people that read the comics will get this. But one of the first, but I remember as we Ultimate as Starlines being like, hey, hey, Knuckles. I was like, I don't particularly remember exactly what he said. I'll have to re-listen to it. I know there was somebody that made like a animatic off it, and it was funny. But I know at one point I very nonchalantly, I'm just like, hey, what's up? How's being dead going? And it was the first time. I'm probably the only one I know that's been able to make Ultimate completely speechless. Because I remember, because this is Ultimate. He ramble hard as a motherfucker. So it's literally just a pause and just. Wow. It was so funny to me. And I just see, and I know Chris, you were there too. I remember finding it so fun to hear you. Okay, it was so funny to me, and and that's just stuck. That just stuck with me, just because it was just so freaking funny to me. So if I were to think of one, it'd probably be that.
Oh, nice. I definitely remember that panel like a lot. That one I think is one of my favorite panels, involving like under how many minutes was it? Like 5 minutes, I think, per panel.
It was like that was hence the speed part of the speed Q&A.
Also, there was a question from System. System, this is about me. Oi. Oh, actually, yes!
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, I was about to say, the system don't be asking questions for me, but he just offered. Asked me if I wanted to voice in his Sonic Ops thing. But anyway, the other question was for you from him. Sorry. But anyway, he said, Josh, would you ever want to be in voice in a fan series?
Hell yeah, man. I'm resuming that question was supposed to be. Oh yeah. I'm reading right now. Would you ever want to be a voice in my fan series? You're damn right. Of course, I'd be down.
That's well, I did it like that.
Yeah, I don't remember doxing myself. I don't remember doxing myself.
You were talking about me when I was trying to fix the audio on my end because they couldn't hear you or Leah. Oh, apparently they can't hear me.
Oh.
They can hear you. I can hear you fine on my end. They just can't see me for some reason.
Got you. But I'd potentially be interested. System, you just have to just DM me and we'll talk. Which I know. Because I know there's definitely quite a few people in the community. I would absolutely love to work with. Like I know. For those that saw, I recently did a vocal cover of me and Chris's good friend Emmy Jones's song Infinity and Beyond, the Forces song they did years back, and I recently put out a cover on that. I know for a fact that she is easily somebody I would love to work with.
Right.
If that opportunity were to, I guess I have technically, because I helped out with setting up their area at Revo, and of course me and Chris had the interview with her for Chris's series, but I don't think we haven't had an opportunity to actually work on actual projects together yet. Which it would be super dope if that were to, if we were to ever have that ever to have that opportunity. And Emmy, if you're watching right now, I would absolutely be down to do that if you ever were.
Ooh,
I think
nice.
She's focused on their trip that she's planning to do, so I don't think she's watching.
Sorry?
Remember, she is still focusing on her getting ready for her trip, so I don't think she's watching anything right now.
That is true. That she stays really busy, but in the off chance that she's watching, I'm absolutely down for whatever. I know Shadow 759 is another one I'd like to do. Shout out to him if he's watching. I know. God, there's a lot. It would take the entire stream for me to list the amount of people I'd love to work with. Those are just people that came readily to mind at that particular moment. It's I'm open to collabs. People just make sure to hit me up. So I know you want me to do them.
Ooh, nice. Okay, here's my next question for you, Josh. So tell us your experience in being able to monitor the panel with Ryan Drummond and Pete Capella for the Sonic Revolution 20 in-person event.
Talk about a bucket list. That was let me tell you, whenever I was given the opportunity to do it, I was like, yes, I want to do it, because these are people that I idolized as a kid, and of course I remember And of course, right before the trip, like me and Pete had a nice conversation over Discord, and when we like hit it off like immediately. So we got to know each other. We got to know each other a little bit. You know, of course I like his work. I like his work. He liked me. So, you know, we started prepping it from there, and it was. Out of all the times for my mom to text me, I'm doing an interview, Mom. All right, there you go. I'm responding to your text on international broadcast, Mother. You happy? All right. Love my mom. God bless her. She could be a pain in my ass sometimes, but you know. Mom, if you're watching, I love you very much. But okay, I need a refresher of what I was about to ask, because my mom kind of screwed up my answer. So I feel like you might need to remind me what the question was.
Basically the question was, tell us your experience in being able to moderate the panel with Ryan Drummond and Capella for the Sonic Revolution 2023 in-person event.
It was, well, like I said, it was definitely a bucket list sort of thing. And I know I was trying to mention before I got rudely interrupted by my mother. Was that you know, obviously me and Pete had a nice long conversation beforehand, and it was an awesome experience. I remember even telling him straight to his face, like, it was an honor to even have the conversation with him, and you know, we you know, we hit it off like immediately. And of course, it was afterwards that Pete had mentioned to me that he was gonna potentially like bring Ryan in as well, and you know, he just had to run it by Rebel staff, which I'm of course a part of the staff. So I remember straying like, hey, as a staff member, you're not gonna hear me complaining. that is the exact words I said to him, which, I mean, he has a great sense of humor, so I knew he wouldn't mind. You know, and that was literally just something he just kind of threw in there, which I didn't get to do the same Discord convo with Ryan I was able to do with Pete. We wound up just meeting up later at the con. But that was fantastic experience as somebody that grew up with both of them, being able to moderate and share and be on stage with like two voice actors that I've like grown up on their work, and just like they're both absolute class acts. They're both absolutely amazing at what they do, and Pete is a genuine sweetheart of a dude, and you know, he's and like, it was absolutely and he was super supportive of me, like even involving me in on the panel as well, because I was obviously there to moderate, but at the end of the day it was like their panel. But like he still mentioned like either like, hey Josh, is there something you wanted to throw in? And I was like thrown off. I was like kind of caught off guard because I wasn't expecting that. But like, no, he absolute class act. And you know, and of course we've and you know, like it's honestly hard to describe, because it was probably one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. But it was so wonderful to be able to directly to to be able to directly say that I directly worked in some capacity with Ryan Drummond, Pete Capella, and Jason Griffith on the same damn con was like, I could have gotten shot in the head the next day, and I would have had the best career of my life. Like, which Jason wasn't a part of the panel. He was busy with his table, but I helped set him up. So that was. So there was that. We did have, though, me and Jason did have a couple nice conversations on our own. He's a very, very awesome, very approachable guy as well. I'm not trying to say anybody's better than whatever. Because I love them all, but it's to this, I'm still trying to process that happened to this day. Like, I feel like if all those videos didn't pop up from people that were there, I would have thought it was all a dream for real. I of course, Ryan following both me and Chris on Twitter was also wild. After Pete's already technically had me followed for a while, and so me and Pete had already me and Pete had already met before at the online con the year before, because I co-hosted the panel we had there with Kelp, and somebody decided to drive with their loud ass engine outside my apartment. I don't know if that's related. But I don't know why it's getting so hard for me to say sentences. I swear I'm not having a stroke on the air. But
that's really cool. That's really cool that you had that experience. Being able to actually work with the actual voices of the characters back in the day. That's
absolutely, and it was even weird. It's still weird. It's still weird for me to be able to verifiably say I know Pete. It's just because of the fact we were able to have that conversation beforehand, and of course after the con, I never thought in a million years that Ryan Drummond would follow me on Twitter. But he did afterward. And I remember specifically something that I thought was, actually, this is something I feel like I'll throw in something as well. But I remember after the panel ended, which of course I've already mentioned how wild I thought that being able to hear Pete be give a hand for Josh over here. I'm like, yo, what? What was that? I was grateful. I was just I was just caught off guard because just because you don't really it's one of those things you're not really used to, and I know
hey, it's a new experience for everyone.
Yeah, and I remember after the panel ended too, I remember I got one of those after the panel ended, I remember I got one of those pats on the back of my shoulder, kind of a good job, you killed it sort of thing. And then I looked behind me and saw Ryan Drummond did it. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is happening right now? And then literally a couple days later, me and Ryan Ryan followed both me and Chris on Twitter. I remember specifically we were on a tour around. You don't mind if I mention this, do you?
Oh no, that's fine.
No, not you. I'm talking to Chris.
Go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, I remember me and Chris. I believe we were at the farmers market in LA. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I just happened to check my phone and saw that I got in a follow yo, bro, Ryan Drummond. Yo, bro, the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Drummond just followed me, and am I tripping right now? I remember literally a few minutes later, Chris, he followed you, and you literally had to hold my shoulders, pinch me. It's so funny to me.
It's not every day that I can get followed by him in general.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm like, I know. I'm with you. I was honored. I just remember finding that really funny. I just remember finding that really funny because you like held you like had to hold me, and you're like, "Bitch me, bro."
He's iconic, bro.
Oh, I know. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was funny, but I also didn't blame you because you saw my tweet afterwards. I screenshot. I was like, "Holy fucking shit," you know.
Oh my god. But that's really cool. That's really cool. We do have a question from DJ McNerdet. Can you do a Memphis, Tennessee impression? Well, we all pretty much know who that is, but what do you think of Dan Green's voice work with the character?
First of all, that's one. First of all, that's one hell of a name. Also, second, can you repeat that?
It's from DJ McNerdet. Can you do a Memphis, Tennessee impression? And the other question after it is, what do you think of Dan Green's voice work with the character?
I mean, he's the only one that did a voice for Mephiles, so that's. I feel like that's a. I mean, it's Dan friggin' Green, the dude's a legend. Like, I mean, like he absolutely nailed that role, and I consider it an honor that people even think that the people that have heard my voice for like Dark Box and stuff for all that even feel like my voice is comparable in any way, which I consider an honor. But the previous one, like, just trying to make sure the previous one was literally just them asking for I don't see it on mine.
It's basically, can you do basically a Mephiles voice impression? That's pretty the gist.
I mean, I'm an actor, not an impressionist, so I don't know if that's really the proper term, but like, I mean, as far as my Mephiles voice is basically just my Knuckles voice, but calmer, which that's kind of like a, I'm using my lower register, being like, how ironic fate can be. Welcome to Tilted Towers. I'm Memphis, Tennessee, and other Snapcube related references.
Tilted Towers.
Yeah, I already said Tilted Towers.
Fortnite Battle Card and Battle Pass.
Shut up.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, that's sorry that I keep having a stroke mid-sentence. But yeah, that's I guess that was I don't know if Discord's gonna pick it up, but I guess I could throw in my approximation of the laugh real quick. Anyway, Discord probably didn't pick any of that up. But what was that?
Oh no, it picked up. I heard it.
All right, that's good. I was because I hadn't properly warmed up, so I wasn't sure it was going to come out. But there we go.
I get you. Chris, do you have another question for Josh?
Right now I don't have any questions for myself, and honestly don't have any questions in my chat. Let's see if you got any on yours.
We do have a question from NC. Do you want to read that one?
Yeah, from NC, they asked for Josh, how did you get the role of Knuckles in the Sonic & Knuckles show from Peggy?
Ooh, great question.
Ooh, that's gonna be that's gonna be a doozy. Essentially, it was by pure luck that I even got that. But essentially, the previous voice actor for Knuckles, essentially got the can as a result of them being kind of a problematic individual, which is just a short way of saying they were revealed to be a pedo. And that's I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Leave it at that, please.
Yeah. But essentially, after they got the can, Freggy was looking for a voice for Knuckles, and he happened to and he like me and him already knew each other, and I was going. As far as which career-wise, at that point I was going nowhere. So I was he messaged me. I sent him a few samples, and he really liked what I did. He really liked the samples that he sent. One thing led to another, and here I am. Yeah, that's pretty much my answer to that.
Nice. Okay. See, here is my question. Tell us, how did you become part of the voice cast Sonic Revolution?
I don't know why my throat is so dry all of a sudden.
Oh.
But that was through Cashlin, if I recall. It was that who was the casting director at the time. I remember it was like early into the panels. Essentially, and I believe they were looking for Knuckles for the Court of Mobius panel that they were getting ready to do. This was January 6th of 2022. I remember the day. I remember I was working as a board op at a local radio station at the time. I remember I got a message when I got off work, and Chris and not Chris Cashlin had DM'd me letting me know about hey, is this something you'd be interested in? I wasn't doing a damn thing, so I was like, sure, absolutely, because I was already aware of the reputation, and I wasn't about to say no to the opportunity, and I had no expectations at all when I took it. I was told because I didn't have much confidence in my improv at that time, and I was just like, this is not gonna last too long. I suck. and then that Court of Mobius panel happened, and the rest is history. So, and of course it led to, as of recently, I'm also a part of the it went from that to me being like one of the main staff members, which is crazy to me. Like, I never thought in a million years that would ever happen, and I'm grateful for it. Because I'm also, obviously, as most of y'all know, I'm also part of the PR and social media team with Leah and Chris over here. So, yeah. So that I'm also the, the main stream coordinator and chief audio engineer and producer. Chris also helps with the streams as well. It's like I went from just being that extra Knuckles that they needed to being Knuckles, Boob Knuckles, and Zavok, and being like one of the main staff members, which is just crazy to me. It's a dream come true, and I'm glad that I I'm glad that I said yes to that opportunity because I know for a fact that's opened up a lot of doors. Along with the Sonic and Knuckles show, which happened roughly around that time. So like literally both that and Sonic and Knuckles show have helped my career immensely, and I'm grateful for that.
Ooh, wonderful. Wonderful. Do you have another question for Josh, Chris?
So far, no.
Okay. Here's my next question for you, Josh. Are there any warm-ups you do for your voice before you record? If so, what type of warm-ups do you do?
Well, I know there's definitely tea involved. I definitely make sure I definitely make sure that one of the first things that I do is I make this little concoction of throat coat tea mixed with 3 tablespoons of Chinese herbal cough syrup, which tastes a lot better than you think. Mix that together and then down it. Well, not really down it because it's hot as hell, but like I definitely I sip it and all that sort of stuff, and have a little water if need be, and then I the warm-ups that I do, I mean, it's a little hard to really describe the warm-ups because that kind of, anybody that's voice acted in anything at all could basically tell you like the basic ideas, breathing exercises and breathing exercises and playing with your range to open up the vocal cords, tongue twisters and all that jazz. I don't really have a good answer to this question because but it's like, if you know, you know.
Ooh. Do you have another question for Josh, Chris?
One from Lightning Word. He asked to Josh, what is your favorite Sonic? I think it's Sonic song? And why?
Favorite Sonic song?
And why?
And why? That's I mean, that's a long list. I have so many Sonic songs that I enjoy. If I could think of if I had to pick one, oh God, this is so hard. It's like picking my favorite kid, and I don't even have kids. But I probably would have to say I'm gonna say Live and Learn by Crush 40 and Sonic Adventure 2. That's easy. That's, if I had to pick one, that would probably be my favorite one, just because of just how perfect it is composition wise, and just honestly I'll change that to pretty much anything Crush 40's ever released. Just because like there's just something about like how just wonderfully over the top, and like wonderfully over the top everything that ever put out for the franchises, and just like I don't think they've ever released a bad song in my opinion. I think that they're absolute geniuses, and I'm excited that Johnny Gioli's gonna be going to Expo, because that's gonna be a Sonic Expo, because that's gonna be super awesome.
Start saving up for that. You want to see that?
Absolutely, and I've already thrown something in the Kickstarter. So I'm excited for that, because I do very much plan on attending that. And but I will say a close second. Very, 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 very close second is Undefeatable. Because
Ooh.
that's probably like, I think like Kellen Quinn. I'm a big Sleeping with Sirens fan. I've listened to his music since I was like 16, 17. So I was already blown away that they got him to be a part of the soundtrack, and I loved like all three of the songs that he provided for it. That Undefeatable is easily my favorite one because of the fact that it literally works with everything. like it's almost criminal how well it you could literally put that song in damn near anything and it would work. And which is not an easy task. And and Otani Otani and Kellen Quinn absolutely nailed that song. And I never it doesn't matter how many times I listen to it, I never get tired of it. So yeah, I guess I technically cheated by giving 2, but there you go.
Both of those songs are pretty amazing. I don't blame you. It is hard to choose, but yeah, like I can definitely agree. Live and Learn is probably the most popular song on Sonic franchise. I would say, but Undefeatable is definitely a really amazing one too.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, here's my next question. Are there any Sonic characters you relate to in terms of their personality?
Oh, man, ironically enough, Knuckles definitely is easily one, just because because his game canon personality is kind of wild how similar it is to my actual personality. Because I consider myself fairly introverted and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if I'm as gullible necessarily, but like literally, like, you know, him always wanting to be there for his friends, but him also being you know, fairly introverted, and you know, I mean, I'm not, and I mean, not, and you know, I can be a bit like, you know, it's hard to get me truly up. It's hard to get me truly upset, but you know, I mean, but you know, like probably not that much different personality wise in that regard. It's honestly, it's hard for me to say all. It's literally to like a very weird degree. It's like very similar to my own personality, I feel. I also and just I know Tails. I definitely I know Tails. I'm also a big fan of Tails as well, which I feel like you know, there's definitely some. Yeah, there's definitely parts of his personality I felt like I could relate to as well, as far as you know, not necessarily being the most confident in your own abilities, and that sort of thing. Like, and like there was definitely something about that character in particular that I found very inspiring growing up. Well, of course with Sonic, as well. But I'm just excluding Sonic. That felt like that'd be too obvious. Although you know, but I feel like, yeah, if I were to pick one, it would probably be Knuckles. Ironically enough.
Very interesting. It kind of feels like it's just meant to be in a way, because you are literally the Robo BA for Knuckles.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. Do you have another question, Chris?
No. I think like most of my questions have been answered there.
Like I said, if I ramble on, just stop me because I.
Okay. Here is question to you, John. What brand of recording equipment do you use to have the best quality?
You cut out there. What?
Yeah, you cut out there.
Okay. Discord. The question I said is, what brand of recording equipment do you use to have the best sound quality?
I would say, well, I use the mic I use is a Shure SM7B, which is, that's my daily driver. I swear by it, and I have it connected to a Rode Rodecaster Pro 2 audio interface. And I'm in my, and I generally, and pretty much everything that I do recording wise is done in my office, which for the panels, I'm usually just sitting on my desk, and I have like soundproof blankets on the walls, and for recordings and stuff, I'm typically using my sound booth, which is in the same room, slightly out of frame. I say that like there's a webcam on, there's not. But I have one in the room that I usually use to record in, and that's pretty much it in that regard. It's a good like $1,500 worth of stuff, but like it does the job for sure.
See, here is my question, John. What do you think is the most?
Yeah, cutting out super bad. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Discord's being weird. Discord being Discord. Here is my next question. What do you think is the most important skill for a voice actor to have?
I mean, the thing is, I'm still essentially trying to establish myself as a voice actor. And like, there's definitely things I'm still learning to a degree, but I know that definitely one that's definitely an easy one is to focus more on the performance and going into silly voice, because it's voice acting, not doing voices. That's Pete and like the stuff, like a lot of the stuff that Pete and Ryan were mentioning in their panel were like, that was another reason I was excited to do the panel, because and I remember I'd essentially had mentioned to Pete like, hey, I'm also a voice actor. And so like I actually am glad that, so I'm actually super happy you're doing this, because like, the whole idea with Pete doing that panel was because of the fact that I guess because of the fact that he knew that there was a lot of people in the community that were inspired voice actors, and he wanted to try to like, to let them know like, hey, you're like essentially a nice way of saying hey, if they want to get Roger, they'll get Roger. Just make me focus on the performance more than getting the voice right. He didn't mention Roger specifically or anything like that. I'm just making that was just something I made up as an example. But like, making sure that the performance backs up what you're trying to do with the voice, because if you can't maintain that, then you're in, that's not good, because that's the acting part of voice acting. And also to definitely partake in as much training as possible, because most demo reel producers aren't going to make a reel for you unless you could prove that, you've got enough training in there to where they'll think you're ready, that sort of thing. Like, make sure you're working with reputable people as far as your training. And beyond that, just practice, and also make sure you're keeping as many options open, because there's not that much, because because animation in video games is while obviously there is work in that field, that's not the biggest part of the industry. Like, people that are successful in that will tell you that. There's also commercials and narration and audiobooks and promos and all this other, there's so many different genres of work you can get work in, but you gotta make sure you're putting the work in and opening up yourself for opening up as many avenues as possible, because you can't just put all your, because if you pigeonhole yourself in the beginning, you probably won't have your career for very long, to put it bluntly. So just make sure ultimately you're keeping all your options open. Make sure that you're focused more on the performance and the actual voice than you trying to do like a voice a voice perfectly, unless the impression's top notch, they're not gonna cast anybody off that. We've already got one guy voice. That's enough. We've already got one guy, technically two guys voicing Mario. That's enough. So just ultimately just practice, focus on the performance, and make sure you're training to hone in on your craft where you're able to, but do it with reputable people, not just people that are trying to take your money. And that's the best thing I can think of to answer that. Like I said, I'm technically still learning, but this is the stuff that I've learned in my journey.
All right.
Also as an addendum, learning to improv definitely helps out as well. So, because especially these days, most reputable trainers will instructors will mention that it definitely helps to be able to know when to be able to improvise, as well as far as being able to make creative decisions on the spot. So improv classes definitely help as well in that regard, which is hence why I'm currently studying improv at Second City to help out with that. So that is definitely something I would recommend.
Ooh, cool.
But I guess if we have any, my answer sucked, and I'm sorry. This is the first interview I've ever done, solo. So I'm so hopefully this is sounding all right on my end. But I guess, is there any more?
I got no questions on my end.
I have no questions to ask either. Oh yeah, I did, Josh.
You're cutting out again, Leah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Discord. I did DM Josh.
Oh yeah, I saw the DM. I mean, that's up to you.
Okay, since we have no more questions in the chat, in both of our chats, pretty much, we will be ending the Q&A a little bit earlier than usual. But
I'm not important enough. It's all good. I'm kidding.
But
hold on.
But it was
had a question.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Just as we were just about to see that. Anyways, remove. I didn't even get the chance to read it. Remove.
Cheese and quackers, Rainbow. You got get with the program.
I was just about to read that.
Oh wait, never mind. Scratch that, Rainbow.
I literally just saw your question and you literally removed it. Try to rewrite your question there,
no.
Boom.
It's okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
We'll wait for your question.
Oh, my brain hurts. Okay, I got a headache.
You're fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
You're okay.
You're fine. You can rewrite your question. Rewrite your question.
Don't worry. You can rewrite your question.
I could go for some cheese and crackers right now.
I'm gonna hit you with this mallet.
Eh.
And then cancel you on Twitter.
Not again. Where the fuck did you get a mallet?
Cartoon logic.
True.
I'm not sure. Is Rainbow right question? Hello,
I have no idea.
Rainbow.
Hey, Boom, you're gonna type your question? I think she's still trying to type it, I think. Rainbow?
You got this, Rainbow.
3 hours later.
3 hours later. Oh, I got my question. Oh wait, the stream is already done.
Oh, there it is, there it is. Okay, there it is. Yeah, for Josh, what's your most favorite Sonic game you ever played?
Ooh, that's a long list. Ah, sorry, I got a little tick. I got this really bad tickle in my throat out of nowhere. Excuse me. Shit. What was the question again? His favorite Sonic game it was?
Yeah,
Was it?
what was your most favorite Sonic game you ever played?
I guess. Oh my God, that is a good question because it's hard to answer. I think probably. Oh God, that is an impossible question for me to answer because there's so many. But I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, my God, that's like picking a favorite child, bro. Why you got to do this to me?
Come on, there's gotta be one specific game.
Yeah, but there's a lot of. Yeah, but there's a lot of.
Like, which one was your most, like, which one, like, try to pick out of one of them, like, that you enjoyed playing the most out of all of them?
I would say probably, I guess, I mean, if I have to think of one, probably, I know I would probably Sonic Adventure 2 Battle because that was actually that's such an open-ended question. It's not really narrowing it down, but can I just answer all of them?
Well, there you go.
I mean that's not 100% true, but I feel like if I had to pick one, like, as far as I think to make this easier, I'll go switch it with generations, with generation type stuff. I guess actually,
Well, there.
Like that's the thing. There's so many. It's really hard for me to answer that one. it's it's literally impossible to just put it down to one. But I mean, switching. I mean, so I'll make this easier and split it into the different generations. I would say as far as the classic games, it'd be Sonic 3. Easily. As far as for numerous reasons, not one of them's not necessarily just because Knuckles makes his debut in there, but that's definitely but that's definitely one of the reasons. Also, I swear I'm not having a stroke again. I know as far as Adventure era, probably a tie between Adventure 2 and Heroes. And as far as like the current era, probably a three-way. I mean, technically, Mania kind of counts as a classic game to a degree. So, like, I would probably make that a tie between Sonic 3 and Mania. But as far as the current mainline generation, it's probably a three-way tie between Colors, Generations, and Frontiers. So, there, you got your answer finally. Even if I was struggling hard as a motherfucker to think of it. Cheese and Quackers Rainbow with that open-ended ass question.
Do you have any questions on your end, Chris?
I got one more, and it's from Lightning Warrior. They asked Josh, what is your one of your favorite characters in your childhood?
Oh, and I think favorite characters in my childhood. Another open-ended ass question. But I mean, although this does play into factor, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, which was like my inspirations to be a voice actor, but like by far my biggest inspiration in voice acting would have to be the man of 1,000 voices himself, Mel Blanc, may he rest in peace. And which, you know, like, and of course, you know, obviously he was before my time, but I grew up and like rerun character of his cartoons as a kid, so like a lot of those, like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Yosemite Sam, like he voiced literally all the male characters when he was alive, so it would take forever to list them all, but like literally anything Mel Blanc's ever recorded is probably one of my favorite, like my biggest inspiration as a voice actor is that, like, which I feel like every voice actor, it would tell you the same thing. We're all trying to get to that. Like we all hope to, like, there's Mel Blanc and then there's everybody else. You know? Although I do know, characters from my childhood, like, the Sonic franchise is an obvious one, so I'm gonna exclude that one. But I was mentioning earlier that I'm a big Nintendo guy. You know, I like Mario, I like Kirby, Pokemon. As far as non-Nintendo stuff, I like Crash a lot. I like Spyro a lot. As far as like animated shows and such, there's That's a long list as well. I know also I know as far as like animes that I like. There's you know Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, lot of other ones. Like I'm just mentioning the ones that come readily to mind. It would take forever for me to list them all, but yeah, I mean, as far I know, I was also a big Disney kid growing up, so like there was like I mean, if I probably I know, and I know I was also a big Disney and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network kid growing up specifically, but like I know I was also like I liked Avatar: The Last Airbender a lot, the original one. I liked I mean SpongeBob a lot. That's like this is like I said, it would take forever to list them all. So, and I don't want to bore you with me listing a whole inventory of characters and such, but yeah, I haven't really good answer to this question just because there's so many of them. I'm a shit interviewee. I'm sorry.
Do you have any other questions on your end, Chris?
And this one could be the final one from Chaos Infernal. They asked, what is your favorite genre of songs?
As far as if I had to pick one genre that I listen to the most, it would be a three-way tie between heavy metal, hip hop, and electronic dance music. But I'll pretty much listen to anything. I know as far as and like I'll have something like that list one day, and then like I don't know. And then the other I might I mean for those that saw the videos that came out of the Pete Capel and Ryan Drummond panel, I'm literally wearing an Abbey Road t-shirt while I'm there. So yes, that wasn't just me trying to be cool. I actually am a Beatles fan. I know my parents were like Gen Xers to the core, so I was raised on a lot of classic rock and 80s, and a lot of 80s and 90s music. Stuff like Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard, Nirvana, Depeche Mode, Van Halen, and Pet Shop Boys. Pet Shop Boys is, I know, another one of that my mom's a big fan of, and I have a very eclectic taste in music. Like and of course, growing up in Louisiana, I've enjoyed a fair amount of jazz as well, jazz, blues. It honestly depends on my mood. So, because there's a lot, but as far as so yeah, that's basically just a long-winded way of me saying metal, hip hop, and EDM are my favorite genres, but I'll pretty much listen to anything depending on my mood. So, there you go.
Alright, there you go.
I don't have any more questions. Live. Chris?
No, I don't have any more questions on my end.
But I guess,
right.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, alrighty then. Unfortunately, we'll have to end this Q&A a little bit, like 30 minutes earlier than usual. But it was a pleasure to have for this Q&A job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah. And this is the very first time we literally live streamed this Q&A of Chris's YouTube channel itself. So
absolutely, and absolutely, and of course, I haven't really, and of course, I'll go ahead and mention first, which First of all, I apologize if I was rambling on. As I mentioned in the pre-chat, this is like the first time I've actually done a solo. This is the first solo interview I've ever done, so I was like nervous to tell. Hopefully I didn't bore anybody with my rambling. But also like as far as like a first interviewer, I can't think of a better way to have my first interview than to have it with two of my good friends here, and because I knew I was going to be in good hands, which I appreciate that. And, I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yes. I love doing these Q&As to give you guys spotlight, have people get to know you, and your experiences and who you are as a person. That's why I love doing it.
That's good, and I can tell because I see you've been killing it with what you've been doing, and of course Chris, Chris obviously, Chris, Chris, I know how long you've been grinding, so I don't even got to say anything. But yeah, I can't think of a better place to have my first interview than it was than with y'all. So I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
So do not worry. I'm gonna be also posting the next Q&A live stream event of who will be next. So stay tuned for that. And for this month, there will not be a Sonic Lore with Radar, but the next one will be in September. So stay tuned for the next episode of Sonic Lore with Radar. And I also am going to be starting another live stream series other than the Sonic Lore with Radar and the Q&As I've been doing. So stay tuned for that. So bye, everyone.
See you.